All right, super excited to welcome you guys to How to Build a Great Bot. We were very excited to announce 100,000 bots on the platform earlier today, and we're going to share a lot more information about how you guys can build great bots for your businesses. So I'm going to introduce our speakers, both our engineering managers on Messenger, Mikhail Larionov and Helen Tseng, and please help me welcoming them to the stage.
Hey there. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Helen Tseng, and I support the business and platform team in Messenger. Earlier today, you heard from David Marcus about some of the new features we're shipping in Platform 2.0. Here, Mikhail and I would like to show you a little bit about how some of the successful bots are built and a deep dive into these new features. But first, I'd like to thank all of you for being part of this growing community here. Since last F8, we've come really far. We've started from 0 to 100,000 developers in Messenger and with AI platform, with 100,000 monthly active bots. I'm also really excited to see major platform providers building on top of Messenger platforms as well. These platforms greatly simplify for the life for marketers and entrepreneurs, and I'm seeing explosions of businesses building on top of them. Bots have changed my daily routine. Just recently, I've used the Sephora's bot to book my new makeover session. And over the, yeah, right? And over the weekend, I used a Food Network bot to find my dinner recipes. When I look around what my friends are using, I'm also really interested to see some really new use cases, like the Ask a Bot that sends you morning and evening prayers. All of these new use cases are available because of the feedback you've given us. Take a look at this amazing progress. Since last F8, because of the feedback you have given us, we shipped 5 releases with major updates that you've been asking for. And one of the things that I actually get a lot of common questions when I get feedback is, do you have any examples of what works well? So here, let me go and deep dive into some of the best practices I've seen in successful bots. First, let's talk a little bit about the eternal debates between conversations and UI. To me, it's a spectrum based on what you're trying to do. Sometimes even a hybrid solution works well. Chats can be very powerful, it's intuitive, everybody understands that on Messenger. But it can also be very annoying to type and very easy to make mistakes. Take a look at what I call death by decision tree here. This is an example of what not to do, right? Taking multiple inputs, then asking tons of questions before returning something back to the user is especially bad in a conversation flow, right? In this demo travel bot here, it's asking you tons of questions before returning you something like a travel package deal. So imagine for a second, what would happen if I type something wrong in the middle of this flow? Game over. I'm likely going to rage quit rather than typing all of this again. When you're trying to get multiple inputs, the web view might be a better alternative. And the Swelly bot has a great example of using this web view. This bot helps you make really important life decisions, like which snack should I buy next? I can go and subscribe to my friends, my followers, and also all about my silly questions. So let's take a look at how the Swelly bot uses a web view for subscription options. Plain and simple, just a list of checkboxes. This web view is customized to be halfway in height. It's meant to be a widget inside your conversation flow. When do you actually want to use the web view? Say you want to show a list of options or multi-selects. You want to let people go and change your inputs halfway. Or you want to integrate with something visual, like the seating chart or a map. What you really don't want to use WebView for is to build a whole website on top of your conversation thread, which is super unintuitive. Think about the WebView as a widget in your conversation flow. And you should think about actually getting this interaction as brief as possible, just like anything on mobile. Another thing that we've learned is that structured navigation is really important in user experience. And one of these key features is the bot menu. Since version 1.4, we've enhanced our bot menus to be a lot more prominent and allow submenus. The eBay Shop bot is a great example of using this menu here. Take a look. It's very easy at a glance what kind of functionalities your menu actually, what your bots can actually do. It lets you browse your collections, help you set my preferences, and also getting some power user tips about this bot. What's really nice about this bot menu is that you can actually reset this flow at any time. Just because we give you the nested menu doesn't mean that you want to build a huge menu over this, though. The general rule of thumb is it highlights the major bot functionality for your bot and only uses the nested menus when there is a natural next step at your top of your notification flow. Tons of businesses are already getting more sales leads over Messenger than over the phone. To support them, we're introducing the native payments in the Messenger platform. When you're thinking about monetizing your bot, the native payment functionality is a great way to get people to buy with confidence. The Brew the Way bot has a great example of using this functionality. How many of you love coffee? I do. This bot is like the coffee concierge. You can use that to find interesting coffee beans. It'll tell you stories, really interesting stories around them. And when you're really like, oh, I want to buy this coffee here, you're just one button to click away. When you're thinking about monetizing your bot, the first thing you should really think about is what value are you providing your user before leading them to the product you want them to buy. Okay, so let's say now you have your greatest user experience. You can even get transaction from it. But how do you drive traffic to your bot? You should start thinking about organic discovery from places you've already got lots of eyeballs. That could be your website, your stores, or your Facebook page. Then think about using sharing to create that viral interactions. Let me give you some great examples. TechCrunch, where does it get the most eyeballs? Website, right? So TechCrunch uses the Send to Messenger plugin at the top of its homepage to get people to subscribe to Messenger. Pizza Express, one of the largest food chains in UK, has restaurants. So Pizza Express uses the Messenger code at its restaurants to get people to play a game back in December. Media reported it attracted 75,000 players in the first 2 weeks. Not too shabby for a pizza place, right? Many businesses are also using page call to actions and m.me links to drive traffic back to their bot. Since version 1.4, we've also enhanced our sharing capabilities. So now you can customize the message that your user is sending to your friends. In this game bot trivia last year, it customized the message that I'm sending to my friends to, can you beat me in Harry Potter? And when my friend clicked accept challenge, it would deep link it back to that bot. If you want more, paid discovery is also a great way to go. Facebook is awesome at targeting specific audiences. And since last year, Newsfeed can drive traffic to your Messenger bots. When you're ready to re-engage users, the sponsored messages is a great way to get people back to your bot as well. You can use it to send targeted updates or promotions to people who have sent you messages before. This is a great way to get people back to your bot after the 24 hours plus one policy. Many businesses are already using a combination of bodies to drive traffic back to their bot. But we know that discovery is such an important thing to you. We've introduced even more features in Platform 2.0. So now I'm going to hand it over to Mikhail so he can show you some of the new features that we're all very excited about. Thanks.
Thank you, Helen. Can you hear me? Perfect. So my name is Mikhail Larionov. I'm an engineering manager on Messenger platform. And you may remember me from the last F8. Today, I'm going to cover some of the new things we've just launched. Let's start from discovery. First, let's talk about QR codes. In the past, QR codes had two major problems. Number one, it's really hard to find the scanner. Number two, you get only one code per page. Starting today, you can scan QR codes straight from the camera. And we extended the API for QR codes to accept referral parameters similar to m.me links. So now you can handle multiple codes for the same page differently. Next step. Number one request from the community has always been a discovery surface. And today we announced the first version of it. Why now? Over the past year, bot quality got much better, so now we have more great bots available. We also improved quality of user experience on Messenger side quite a bit. Let me do a quick walkthrough to explain how it works. The surface has multiple units with different rankings. There you see popular and featured bots, as well as nearby places and featured businesses. We also have a list of categories to pick from. And you can extend a unit or a category to see a full list. So how do you get your bot into the surface? This is a great question. We designed a new lightweight submission process to collect more data and ensure bot quality. And if you support multiple languages, you can provide us with localized content. Note that approval doesn't guarantee that your bot will appear in the surface. We have a set of filters and rankings to make sure only the best bots will be shown there. And while we don't disclose the rankings, here are some of the things that can help you to get more visibility. These are having low block and report rates for your bot, having the menu and get started button enabled, and having great responsiveness, meaning not relying too much on humans. We also consider user retention and engagement. Here is our rollout timeline. We opened submission process today, so you have time to apply before we open the surface to a wider public. Our next step is the public rollout in the US in May. After that, we will continue with the global rollout, and it shouldn't take long before the surface is available everywhere. Submit your bot in the next 2 weeks to get into the surface early on. Now let's dig into another update I am very excited about. A year ago, we opened bots in one-to-one threads. But the real power of Messenger is in your social context, right? So today we are launching chat extensions that allow you to bring your bot into existing threads. Before we take a deeper look, let me clear several things right away. Chat extensions do not listen to your messages. You cannot mention them. Instead, we are going all in with web views. Why? This is another great question. Because we want rich user input, and text is very limiting. We also don't want bots to have access to your private conversations. And we don't want to pollute your conversations with bot commands. Let me show you a quick video. In this example, my friend Arinea wants to start a task list. So she opens a task bot from the drawer, starts a shopping list, and adds a bunch of items. Then she posts this list to a group thread for our party. I see the message, tap on it, and open the list to add a few more items. After that, I post back to the thread. Essentially, this is the core flow for any chat extension. And by the way, we've just open sourced this example. Now, let's examine every step of this process in detail. Recently, we reworked our composer, adding what we call the drawer and moving some things around. You can open the drawer using the plus button on the left. Here you see all the bots you previously used either directly or in group threads. To appear in the surface, a bot should enable chat extensions using home URL API. Tapping one of the bots in the surface would open a web page at this home URL. To use Messenger capabilities, this web page needs to have Messenger extension SDK enabled. Two main features of the SDK are getting thread context and sharing back to the thread. Having thread context allows you to personalize and link multiple users to the same thread. And sharing allows you to contribute to the conversation. For sharing, we support two modes, broadcast and the newest addition, current thread. Broadcast is the old sharing with people select. Current thread allows you to post to the same thread directly. When a message is sent, it comes from a person who triggered the share. Tapping on a bot attribution at the top would open a one-to-one thread with a bot. Currently, sharing from extensions supports the following content types: images, GIFs, generic templates, and the newest addition, open graph content, such as music URLs. When sharing one of the templates, you can attach only one button from extension, and currently we support only URL and share buttons. Users interacting with the bot in a group may not have a one-to-one thread with it. That means you may not have access to a person's public profile or direct messaging by default. To solve that, we added new methods to the SDK. So now you can ask for these permissions if needed. Chat extensions are available to everybody, everywhere, starting today. Approval process is the same as for existing bots. It's guarded by the same pages messaging permission. So all the bots that already have access should already be able to use this feature. What are your next steps? Check existing extensions, read our guide for developers, build extension for your bot, and enable the entry point. And also check all the great bots that already support chat extensions. Some of them you can find in the drawer. This is really just the first version of chat extensions, of bots in social context. Expect more updates in the future. We're going to invest more in that. For developers, the past year was a year of was a year of learning and exploration. This year is a year of scale. We're going to make sure great bots we're going to make sure users keep having great experiences in Messenger, give great bots exposure to grow, invest in social, and of course, keep improving the fundamentals of the platform. Thank you. And I really wanted to say thank you to the community, because without you, none of that would matter. Thank you for being on this journey with us. We really appreciate it. We will be around at the Messenger booth, and we'll stay for some time here. Thanks.